Hi everyone, welcome to another video. As you can see, this one's a little bit different to the ones I usually do. What I want to do is quite obviously go along some old maps which show where railway lines and local landmarks were, and also maybe ask some advice on something that we may come across that I ain't got a clue about at all. So where we are going to be starting first is quite obviously, says it in big letters there, Kirkham and Wesham Station. And we can have a choice of going down what was 3 lines at Kirkham Junction. Now, what we will do, I think we will go down, obviously, first of all, we will go down this line here, along the Lytham and Blackpool Coast Railway, and don't forget Kirkham on the end, and then to Ray Green Station. And then it carries on. You see all these signal posts here, signal boxes, and then we get down to one of the busiest stations on the line, which is Moss Side Station. And for those of you who are familiar with Moss Side Station will know I'm actually taking the piss, because you'll roughly get around about 3 or 4 people at rush hour if you are lucky. So let's start trundling on down towards Lytham. Obviously there is the Lytham docks there. Obviously there used to be some form of track there. If somebody can let me know what that is, then I would be very, very appreciative indeed. So we now will be going towards the actual station of Lytham. There's the Lytham Goods Station there. Does anybody remember that? I'm sure long gone. What is there now? Let me show you a trick. We can do that. So that is what's there now. So here we go, lovely slaughterhouses, how wonderful. And then here is the station, and there is a lovely pub where you can go and get pissed and then hop on the train again and go back to where you came from. It's obviously only one platform now, but however, obviously on the other side there's some lovely floral displays done by the volunteers there, so very well done to them. I think they're worth a mention. We will carry on going down here to Ansell and Fairhaven, which quite obviously was a bigger station than it used to be, and as you can see was an island platform, whereas it only has one track onto one platform at the moment. From what I can remember through reading things, I think they're talking about putting a passing loop in there so that trains can go every half an hour down the line rather than every hour. Let's face it, it's a very, very well used line and could really, really do with something doing to it. So we will carry on going down here, and we're going to be coming to St Anne's on the Sea, as we can see in bigger letters there. And there is St Anne's on the Sea, and obviously the famous golf course that is there, the clubhouse, the obviously watering hole. So obviously there used to be a fire engine station there. I think it's still there, but if we do this, there should be, if I'm right. Yeah, there we go. There is, you can just see where I'm making that mark there. If I'm right, that is where Sainsbury's is. Take that away. Right, so here we go. We'll go past the electricity and gas works, and we will go down this way and obviously towards something that was called Squires Gate. And obviously at Squires Gate there was the old Pontins. I haven't yet done a video on that, but I will be. Just to mention in regards to my channel, which is Transperience, there's a hell of a lot of videos in regards to local history of Blackpool, and if you're into Bradford, then Bradford as well, but it's mostly all about railways and motorways. Very interested in infrastructure, so yeah, that's that really. So oh look, if in case you're interested, there's some Roman coins found there, and probably spent some of them at the Star Inn by the looks of it. So then obviously we go past here was where the Pleasure Beach used to be, and quite obviously that's why it was called the Pleasure Beach, because a lot of this is sand here and the Pleasure Beach was built on sand. And if we can see this little dotted road here, if I am correct, I think that is a road that runs underneath the actual Pleasure Beach, though I would like to be stood corrected if I am wrong. So as we go towards this way, there's a station that isn't here anymore, and that's Lytham Road Station. There's very little history in regards to Lytham Road Station, so I would appreciate if somebody could fill me in regards to that, because no matter where you look, you can hardly find a thing about it. Then, of course, we come to Waterloo Road Station, and obviously locals will know that that is now Blackpool South, which is a crappy station with a bus shelter at the end of it, and a load of tickets thrown all over the platforms in regards to the ticket machine. But apart from that, it is what it is. Obviously, it's a dead-end station now, and obviously used to go through and under Waterloo Road, and the station building used to be at the top where the 36 is that you can see on your screen there. But I'm sure a lot of you now are interested in obviously the massive sidings that used to be here with, if you can see the turntable, I'm making a mark with a dot there, I hope you can see it, and obviously the football ground there, which is obviously better developed than what it were then. It was a hideous place at one time, but they have done what they have done. And there's some of the engine sheds and another turntable there, and obviously we're going off Rigby Road to see massive gasworks, and then we will bring ourselves into what was one of, well, it's a massive station, it's a shame it's gone. Basically build, we want it for land, and basically used it as a car park, and yeah, really, that's that. But if we have a look, I'm going to try and use this feature here. When I'm putting this circle here, this is where Coral Island is, and obviously a little bit further back here and stuff is where Bonny Street is, and so forth. You get the idea with that. But I can also do this and show you that yes, there is Coral Island and Bonny Street. So if I zoom out, obviously the tower, you can't go into Blackpool without mentioning the tower and the old Sphincter Gardens. If we zoom out, we will see there is the Blackpool North Railway Station, which used to be known as Talbot Road. It was sent a little bit further forward to what it is now, and obviously it's pushed back a little bit now and is what it is, which is absolutely nothing compared to what it used to be, like most stations are these days. But anyway, as I say, we can zoom in again because it's a bit far out. And I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll make some progress towards Poulton le Fylde, because we can then go up towards Fleetwood. There is Bishopham Station. Any information and memories of that, I will be greatly appreciative if you could obviously fill me in regards to that, and other people watching this video. And obviously those familiar with their railway history will know what we're coming upon now. A massive triangle that was obviously built to, basically there is Poulton Junction, Poulton Station. And yes, that goes up towards Fleetwood. Now there is something I came across. Now you see these things, railway disused. I'm very interested to know what this was, if somebody could tell me, because it joins onto the main line before you get to Poulton, and then quite obviously goes onto the railway line going up towards Fleetwood. So if we carry going on up, I think this is Thornton Station. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it is. If not, there we go. I think it is. I think I'm right there. So yeah, there we go. Now here we go. There's basically a scene of a very, very silly mistake in regards to one of my videos where I called this place Burn Hayes, and it's actually called Burn Nays. So apologies for making an absolute tit of myself in that video, which you can also see on my channel. There's a hotel and public house, and quite obviously a lot of you worked in the BR days will know that public houses were essential to the running of the railways. There is the Ammonia Soda Works. I think it's well worth having a look at what's there now, which is virtually nothing whatsoever. But it was worth it. But they do notice actually that the reservoir's still there. Yeah, yeah, that survived, ain't it? So then there's something going off towards here. Let's have a look. I'm interested in this. Where are you going? Where are you going indeed? If you know where this goes, watch it go into Fleetwood. But yes, it is. It's going to go into Fleetwood. What an absolute tit. Right, so obviously there you can see another engine shed and the rope walk. What is a rope walk? I wouldn't mind knowing, please. Fish docks, and then quite obviously there's been the site of a couple of stations going towards this way, because Fleetwood actually did have 3 stations and they moved progressively towards Poulton in their time, or Poulton, whatever you want to call it. There's a China Clay warehouse there. How wonderful. But obviously, there we go. There is what was the massive station there. And then, of course, it's thatchalot.com Tatar. They got rid of it. So, this video is suddenly now going to jump down towards Poulton Le Fylde, because I can't be arsed taking you all the way back down the railway track again. And as if by magic, we're back down there again. So, goodbye, Poulton Le Fylde. And obviously that line I want to know what is about, whatever you're called. So that's what we'll call it for now, line that I want to know what's about. Quite obviously you can see there's quite a lot of signal posts here. The railway must have been absolutely fantastic years ago. You know, I obviously do think about when you just used to wave to each other, signalmen, signal boxes. We're probably a world away from what the railway is now. Yeah, there's Singleton Station. Be interesting to know a little bit about that, please, if you don't mind. I think, if I'm right, I did the Singleton Bank Railway crash video. I think it must have been around, I think this is the embankment here where the accident happened. Please do check that out on my channel as well. Then obviously we'll be going back down towards what we're going to be looking at is Kirkham and Wesham Station. So obviously we've gone along 2 lines of the 3 lines that obviously would have been available from there. So back at Kirkham and Wesham Station again, it would be rude not to go down this 3rd line. And quite a lot of people, obviously with it being long gone, would not be aware of this line, which we are now following. It went obviously over the main line, and it was a direct express line called the Martin line that went down towards Blackpool Central. And it would be an absolutely amazing thing to have these days, rather than messing around stopping every 2 minutes, going down the line, the South Fylde line, whatever they want to call it, going down towards Blackpool South. You know, it would just get people there just like that, as Tommy Cooper said. So we will carry on going down here, and I think somewhere around about here, this is where the obviously Welcome and Railway Hotel, if anybody remembers that, then please do drop it in the comments. Do you remember going in there? The video may have jumped a little bit there because I'm being nosy for something a little bit later on. So here is, believe it or not, Yeadon Way. If I do that, you can see Yeadon Way, and I will try my best just to kind of like put it in the middle-ish here, just so you can get an idea of where Yeadon Way obviously follows right the way down to where we have been already, which is Waterloo Road Station. So we kind of like completed all of the Blackpool and Fleetwood lines there, but I want to carry on going back up again and show you where it actually joined onto where there's the roundabout. So obviously roundabout there, and we'll be coming now towards, I think it was where Tesco and everything is. I think there's a police station there as well. And you will see where it used to, then there's the M6. So part of the M6 actually does travel along where the railway line used to be. And then it says, "Tata, thank you very much," somewhere around here. Don't want to know you no more. Bugger off. And off it goes this way. And you get the idea with that. So I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you want me to do any other areas, please do give me an idea for my next video. If you think this is a pile of crap and you don't like it, then I will stop doing these types of videos, but I just thought it'd be worth a try. Remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and also yeah, check out my other videos. So thank you very much for bearing with me, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves and goodbye for now.